guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a first impression on the L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover Full Coverage Weightless Feel Foundation. I've done a first impression on the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte, which I love. I've done first impressions on the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow, which I also love. And then now I wanted to do a first impression on the L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover because I thought, why not add to the family? They also came out with a L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover Concealing and Contour Palette. I got the foundation and the concealer palette at Bed Bath & Beyond. They had like a brand new display out. I was the first person to take off of the display. The concealer palette was $14.99 and the foundation itself was $10.99. So $25 total basically. This says Pro Face and Body Foundation, ultra lightweight, seamless coverage. Use everywhere. Face, neck, arms, legs to cover imperfections or even skin tone. And I have mine in the shade 305 Natural Beige. So it has a little tip, which is cute. Whoa, whoa. So I'm squeezing really hard pretty much. And it's a super moussey texture. If I'm being honest right now, I usually am not crazy about super moussey foundations. Like the most moussey that I like to go is pretty much how this one felt. It was like a hybrid between like a mousse and a liquid. So right off the bat, I'm already kind of like, because I don't know why they just don't lay nicely on my skin. As I'm patting it out, it's feeling super moussey still. So I'm going to apply it to my skin. I've already moisturized my skin, but I'm not going to prime it. Usually for first impressions, I don't prime it. Typically every day I don't prime, I just moisturize. Just because I like one of the properties of my foundation to be long wearing and smooth my texture anyway. So I'm just going to apply it to my moisturized face as per usual. And for this side of my face, I'm going to buff it out with a brush, and then for the next side of my face, I'm going to compare it to a beauty blender. I don't normally do it that way, but I just wanted to change it up a little bit, and I'm also going to zoom you in. I am going to be using a Morphe M439 brush. It's like one of their most popular foundation brushes to buff out this side. So far going on my face, the color looks alright. It does look a little like neutral, and it is lighter than the bottle. So it's blending out really nice. I get these little brown spots on my nose. It covered the brown spots on my nose. It covered the redness around my nose. And I had like a blemish going on here. The camera and the lighting is not going to show you that. But I do have a problem area here. As you can see a little bit of it right there. And it blended that really nicely. So far with the brush, and it being my first impression with the brush, I like it. So far for coverage, I would say that it's like a medium to full, depending on how much you use. It does feel like nothing is on my skin, which I like as well, just because I hate the feeling of a heavy foundation. Like I want that coverage, don't get me wrong. I want that heaviness of the foundation, but I don't want to feel the heaviness of the foundation, if that makes any sense. Good. There is just a little redness I'm going to try to cover. But I feel like this is one of those foundations where you are going to hate it if you use too much of it. I saw them on the ad say that it's going to cover tattoos. I have a tattoo right here, so I just want to like see. That's about how much it covers a tattoo. So it's not covering tattoos. So now I'm going to try this side with the Beauty Blender to see if the Beauty Blender shears it out or anything. It blends out easily on both sides of the face with both different tools. So whether you use a brush or you use a beauty blender, you're going to, be done in a decent amount of time. Let's see if it's buildable. It's pretty buildable. So this blemish that you guys can't really see, but I see it in person here. Still a little bit of redness from that peeking through. Right now, I don't feel like it's like a total cover foundation, and I don't feel like it has that high or complete coverage that it's claiming that it's gonna have. The finish they said is a natural finish. I agree with that. I don't feel like it's like a matte finish. You can definitely still see that there's some like light bouncing off of my face. We will see how long it wears. The coverage I don't agree with is high or complete, and the texture is definitely airlight. I don't feel like I have anything on my skin right now. That's that for the foundation. Now let's get into the contour kit because I'm really excited about this. So the back of it says that you use individually or blend and customize like a pro, and that it can cover dark circles, imperfections, scars, and then it shows you, of course, how you can contour with the lighter and the darker shades. And then it says that I have mine in the shade 220. I don't know how many shades there are exactly, and I'm really excited. This is the only shade that I saw, and then they had a color correcting concealer kit as well. So I didn't get the color correcting one because I don't even have a lot of darkness underneath my eyes. Usually underneath my eyes is just like a little red. So I just got the concealer one because I am going to be using this under my eyes, and I am going to be using it to contour. But one thing that does concern me is this was the only shade that I saw, and the color correcting was the only shade that I saw. Obviously, this is not going to work to contour or to conceal someone with a darker skin tone than myself. So even for someone with like super fair skin, they would not be able to get away with this as far as concealing goes. I'm hoping that my Bed Bath & Beyond just didn't have the full collection out. I hope that they have larger shade range for sure. I'm gonna take this lightest shade right here and start underneath my eye. The minute that I dip into it, it feels creamy. Be like my concealer and my highlighter. Then I'm gonna take my beauty blender and I'm just gonna blend it out. I am gonna go ahead and take the second shade and use that as a concealer for my face to conceal this bad boy right here, and see how that conceals as well. So that concealed nice. I mean, it's not going to get rid of the texture of it, but the color of it, it definitely concealed. Okay, so right off the bat, it's not bad. Coverage on it is a decent coverage. Again, I don't need much coverage underneath my eyes, so, you know, I don't really want to say it's going to cover your dark circles amazing because I don't really know, but it did cover what it needs to for myself personally. As far as it being like a good concealer for underneath the eyes, it is lightweight, but I am seeing a little bit of creasing, more than I normally see with my normal concealer. We'll see if throughout the day that stays that way or if that gets worse. Because if it does, then I'm going to say this is a no. And I like the texture of these concealers just because they are not as stiff as like the Anastasia. Now that I've laid it on my face, it does look a lot warmer than I expected. Now that I'm done cream contouring, I feel like this is just a cream bronzer, to be honest. I don't feel like it really contoured me. So if you're looking for something to contour you, you're going to need something with deeper color shades. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup, and then I'm going to come back, show you how it looks, tell you how I like how it performed with the rest of my makeup, and then we will see how it performs throughout the day. So I'll be right back. I'm sorry if you hear my birds in the background. I know a couple people comment on my videos about that. Looking at my foundation now, I like the way that it looks and I like the way that it blended with all of my other products. I've gotten a pretty late start today. It is 12:30 right now, so I've had the foundation on for about an hour already. It took me about an hour to do my makeup. So I've had the foundation on for about an hour already, so I will check back in a couple hours. I may or may not be guilty of falling asleep. I just woke up from a nap. So earlier I went out for a little bit, then I came home hanging around and I just fell asleep. But I just have this full like a sheen across my entire face. It's like the kind of sheen that I get with more like dewy foundations. It's worn off pretty much on the entire top of my forehead. So basically from here up, I have pretty much no foundation on there. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. Right now I am looking a little dewy. I feel like by the end of the night, it's gonna look shiny, or it might just start like coming off of my face. I'm not liking the way that I'm looking right now, to be honest. Right now it's not looking like how I first applied it, so that's how I will leave this. Okay guys, so it is a little after 9 o'clock. Since I've been wearing makeup for almost 10 hours. You can see basically here up, my forehead has no makeup on it. And it has worn off a little under here. Like, I was expecting to be blown out of the water with this foundation. I feel like I expected it to be better than the first two Infallible foundations, but I'm really disappointed. I think that this is the first impressions that's ending this way. So I really didn't have many complaints about these two. So the minute that I saw that the L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover was coming out, I was like, that's it. This is going to be the best one. I'm so excited because it's going to have the coverage. It's going to last long because the other two did last pretty decent on me. I was just so excited. Literally, I ran out the next day and I bought it. Like, I think it was the fastest that I ever ran out to purchase a foundation before. I was so excited because the L'Oreal Infallible line for me has proven to be a really good line. This is also the first foundation that I've ever thought, like, I want to return this. And same thing with the concealer palette. So I'm going to start off with the concealer palette just because it's like very short and sweet what I have to say about it. Basically, it's $14.99, which is kind of up there in a drugstore price. Truthfully, I just feel like it's not a contour palette how they advertise it as, which was the reason really why I purchased it, because I thought it's awesome that the drugstore can offer you a contour and concealer palette, so I was super excited about that. This dark shade is not dark enough to contour. As you saw when I first applied it, it's more like a cream bronzer. It doesn't do much contouring. So for me, I think that this is definitely a pass. I know I'm kind of being a little harsh, but that's just because I expect more from the Infallible line. They have amazing products out. Like, you have to kind of keep up with that. You can't really lower your quality. So I feel like this is kind of gimmicky. On the L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover, I just want to quickly go back over what it says on the back. So it says that the finish is natural. I do agree with that. It is a natural finish. It doesn't look like it's not as matte as the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte, but it's not as glowy as the Pro Glow. So I would say that it's like right in the middle of them. And then it says that it wears up to 24 hours. I don't agree with that at all. I even set it with a powder and it still hasn't worn. I feel like probably you could wear it for 5 to 7 hours max. The coverage, they say it's a high complete coverage, and I don't agree with that. I didn't try to build it up to like the most full coverage, but I just feel like if you're saying that your product is a high complete coverage, I should see that with initial application. It doesn't say that it's supposed to be buildable. It doesn't say to add more layers for more coverage, but I feel like that's what you have to do. So when you're telling me that your foundation is high complete coverage, I feel like, okay, so with one swipe, I should have complete coverage. Do you know what I mean? And I just don't feel like this did that. I feel like I had to build it up. As you saw when I was applying it earlier, I have a little blemish right here, and I just kept seeing that redness peek through and kept seeing it peek through. And it wasn't until I covered it with a little bit of the concealer that it almost covered it. I went over it with powder and that pretty much concealed it. So, and then it says the texture is airlight. So pretty much I agree with the way that they describe the finish, which is a natural, and I agree with the texture because it still doesn't feel like I have much on my face. Like, I just think that these two are a pass. I think that they should have waited longer to produce a product that was going to live up to these two, just because I feel like these two are some of the best drugstore foundations I've ever used. And I feel like it, like I said in the beginning of this video, like I had super high expectations. Maybe not so much for this, just because it's new for them. They haven't ever come out with like a contour concealer palette before. But for this, like, I feel like they should know what they're doing with foundations. Like, they clearly they do. Like, they have 2 good foundations already. So like, this is just kind of like a flop for me. I don't know. I would love to know what you guys think about this in the comments below, or link your video if you have a video reviewing it. Just because, am I crazy? Like, am I like the only one who doesn't feel like this is worth it? I just feel like it says like total coverage. So you're thinking like Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation, or you're thinking like the Pro Matte. Like, this one has great coverage, or you're thinking Kat Von D. If you want my true opinion from one friend to another, I would tell you guys don't purchase this. If you were to purchase any of L'Oreal's foundations, depending on your skin type, I would purchase one of these 2. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments below. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye.